Słuchasz podcastu Angielski z Konradem. Nowe odcinki każdego tygodnia. Jeśli chcesz popracować nad płynnością, nabrać odwagi do konwersacji, skorygować często popełniane błędy bądź poznać skuteczne metody nauki, ta audycja jest dla Ciebie. Remember, you're not at school, so chill out, kick back and enjoy yourself. Let's begin. Witaj w kolejnym odcinku. Zanim zaczniemy, pozwól, że pokrótce przypomnę, jak możesz wykorzystać mój podcast. Jeżeli czujesz się pewnie ze swoim angielskim, wystarczy, że przesłuchasz audycji. Dla tych z Was, którzy potrzebują odrobiny pomocy, pamiętajcie o notatkach do odcinka. Zatrzymuj podcast, przejrzyj notatki, w razie potrzeby powtórz nagranie. Zapisz się do newslettera za pośrednictwem strony angielskiskonradem.pl, by otrzymać natychmiastowy dostęp do notatek z tego i wszystkich poprzednich odcinków. Dostaniesz również powiadomienia o nowych odcinkach. Jeżeli masz pytania, uwagi bądź sugestie, skontaktuj się ze mną za pośrednictwem adresu angielskiskonradem@gmail.com bądź za pośrednictwem fanpage'a Angielski z Konradem na Facebooku. Switching to English. Greetings! Welcome to another episode of Angielski z Konradem. This is episode 40, Easter Special. 6 film characters who are basically Jesus Christ. I hope you'll love the show today. Let's begin with some vocabulary. Fast. Fast. Pościć. Miracle. Miracle. Cud, nie dający się wyjaśnić w sposób naukowy. Wonder. Wonder. Cud, tym razem taki stworzony przez człowieka. Hunt. Hunt. Polowanie. Catkin. Catkin. Bazia. Let me begin this episode by saying that I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the supernatural. I do, however, recognize the influence of Christianity on European culture, architecture, literature, art, history, and so on. I'm all for freedom of religion, as long as it's not intrusive or forced upon others. If you want to believe in the existence of a flying pasta monster, fine. That's fine by me. Just don't whip me into your belief. Back to the influence of religion on culture. It's undeniable that some film creators took their inspiration from the Bible. I'm not talking about adaptations per se, like The Passion or The Prince of Egypt either. I'm talking about films which, on the surface, have nothing to do with stories from the Bible. But the more you delve into them, the more obvious it becomes that there are some connections indeed. So, if you are a Christian or a Catholic, if you believe in God, try to keep an open mind about today's topic moving forward. However, if faith is a touchy subject for you, just skip this episode. It's really no use getting worked up about some bloke spewing heresy online. What criteria do I use to tell whether a certain character is based on JC? I'm mainly looking for parallels in stories told in a film to the life and death of Jesus Christ. If I can make more than one connection between something that JC had done in the Bible to actions of a certain film character, that's close enough for me. Let's get into it. Be sure to check out your podcast notes. There you will find a link to the article I used as reference while working on today's episode. Let's get to it. Number 1. Robocop. From the film Robocop. Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, is a policeman who is brutally murdered by the dad from That 70s Show. You don't see that every day. Anyway, his body is recovered by OCP, your typical evil money-grubbing corporation. OCP resurrects Alex and builds him a nearly indestructible robot body. With a simple set of instructions, Robocop is set loose to rid the streets of Detroit of scumbags polluting the once great city. So, here's our Jesus trope. A guy gets killed and resurrected as a cybernetic beacon of justice for inhabitants of crime-ridden streets of Detroit. However, instead of dying for our sins, this Jesus throws crooks through glass, has got infrared vision and a hand cannon hidden in his robotic thigh. There's nothing more cathartic to watch than to see Murphy exacting revenge on criminals who killed him, serving justice one dead bad guy at a time. He's even got healing powers. Well, if you count healing someone from living as a healing power, that is. Okay, maybe that's a little too far-fetched. Robocop's director, Paul Verhoeven, also known for Total Recall and Basic Instinct, once said that his dream was to film the death of Jesus. In a complimentary commentary track you can listen to while watching the film, he states, quote, "The point of Robocop, of course, is it is a Christ story. It is about a guy that gets crucified after 50 minutes, then is resurrected in the next 50 minutes, and then is like the super cop of the world, but is also a Jesus figure as he walks over water at the end." So I guess Mr. Verhoeven got what he asked for eventually, even if it's the mother of all stretches. Okay, number 2, Neo, from the film The Matrix. A character so obviously made in the image of Jesus that it's criminal to overlook the similarities. Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, starts off as a regular guy, working an insignificant 9-to-5 job, doing some computer hacking as a side hustle. One day, he gets an unusual message on his computer which instructs him to follow the white rabbit. The same moment, a doorbell rings. One of Neo's customers and his girlfriend, with a tattoo of a white rabbit on her arm, convince him to join a rave party the group is attending. There he meets Trinity, the woman we saw kicking some ass in slow motion earlier in the film. She tells Neo that Morpheus, a revolutionary figure Neo was doing some research on, is in fact a real person and he wants to meet him. Several twists of fate later, Neo finds himself in the presence of Morpheus. He has him make a decision to either forget about everything that happened so far, ergo take the blue pill, or to see the reality for what it really is, the red pill. It turns out that the world as Neo knew it is a complicated computer simulation designed to keep human beings oblivious to the fact that they are harvested as an energy source for the machines which rule the world, and Neo is prophesied to liberate the people who are still trapped in that virtual reality. Whoa! Apart from being a messiah, a leader who people believe will solve problems of the world, Neo is capable of extraordinary feats. Super speed, super strength, bending spoons by the power of will, although there is no spoon. Also, he knows Kung Fu. After his death from the hands of Elrond the Elf, he becomes untouchable. He can fly, he can use telekinesis, extract bullets by phasing through solid matter, and is able to resurrect his girlfriend in the next film that way. Ultimately, his sacrifice ends the conflict between the remainder of mankind and the machines. So it's all good in the end. Number 3, E.T. from the film E.T. E.T. stands for extraterrestrial, a visitor from another planet. He's short, fat, and looks like a dry plum. He doesn't strike you as Jesus at first. The creator of E.T., Steven Spielberg, once admitted that any resemblance to JC is coincidental. He was raised in an Orthodox Jewish family. That didn't stop the public from making comparisons. E.T. becomes stranded on Earth and is found by a boy named Elliot. He decides to take him home and conceal him from his parents. Elliot and E.T. soon establish a supernatural connection. When he is hurt, so does the alien. After contacting his home, quote-unquote, E.T. falls ill, and so does Elliot. Both are eventually discovered by the government officials and taken away. The alien is, quote-unquote, crucified by military and scientists after his discovery and then becomes healed by means of love and compassion of suburban teenagers. So what makes E.T. a Jesus then? They both dropped from the sky where E.T.'s home was. E.T. died, got resurrected, and ascended to heaven in the end. He demonstrates his healing powers several times over. He doesn't walk on water. Instead, he makes a bicycle fly through the night sky over the moon. Ooh, how romantic. The film poster for E.T. bears a striking resemblance to the creation of Adam by Michelangelo, with E.T.'s and Elliot's fingertips touching one another, only in outer space. The characters in the film even paraphrase the Bible, although, again, unintentionally. Right, moving on to number 4, Superman, from the film Man of Steel. This time we're dealing with a superhero. It is said that comic book heroes are modern reimaginings of those we know from ancient times, like Odysseus, the Amazons, or Thor, for example. The character of Superman is considered to be one such reimagining, one of the first ones, in fact. Apart from some revolutionaries which Superman faces later on, he is the last living inhabitant of planet Krypton. His spaceport crashes on Earth, where he is raised by the Kents. That's where he gets his last name. Throughout his life, Superman fights threats, both earthly and from outer space, for freedom, justice, peace, and the American way. If it sounds cheesy, that's because it is. As before, we've got some obvious analogies. Clark is 33 in the film. That's the age of Jesus when he was crucified. There is a scene where Superman watches over planet Earth from outer space, taking a pose of a cross. In the next film, Superman dies, only to be resurrected and come to save the day. Even though Superman is here to save us from ourselves, not everyone is happy about such an arrangement, namely governments of Earth. What we've got here is an incorruptible guy of great conviction with powers far beyond the most advanced of war machinery. Out of the blue, they are told to trust him and that he knows what's good for them. They've got a dad now, basically. And if they misbehave, he'll take their toys away. He is here to deliver us from evil, whether we like it or not. Number 5, Ellen Ripley, from the film Alien 3. Most people don't like the third Alien film very much. Not even David Fincher, the director, is willing to discuss it during interviews. This film was supposed to be his big break to Hollywood, and, to his credit, it was. He went on to direct such cult classics as Seven, Fight Club, The Social Network, Gone Girl, the list goes on. The film's atmosphere is undeniably unique. The hopelessness, the apathy. It's definitely not a film for everyone, especially when you take the previous entry into the account. Aliens ended on a very triumphant note.